Good evening. Well, I've done a lot of things in my life, and I've had a lot of things come back to me. I've got to tell you a story. Earlier today, well, yesterday actually, I was walking along and spotted a coffee shop open. And I went in and I ordered my coffee to go, and I paid for it. And as I'm leaving the restaurant, this gentleman, the manager of the location, comes walking out and says, "Pardon me, can I speak to you for a second?" To which I stopped and said, "Sure, is something wrong?" And he says, "You don't recognize me, do you?" To which I said, "Should I?" And he laughed and he said, "Probably not, but a couple of Christmases ago, you came walking out of the hotel you were staying at and got a few of us off the street to come and join you for breakfast. And then you gave us some Denny's food cards that somebody else had given to you for us to all have lunch later on." And I'm looking at him and I'm like, "I remember that, but I gotta be honest, I generally don't remember the people that I do things like that for, because I just do it because I feel like it." To which he said, "Well, I have to tell you, I was feeling really down that day, but you're showing some kindness to me, convinced me to actually go to the Upper Room Mission, where they'd been trying to encourage me for quite a while to get off the streets and go into a shelter and actually put some of my schooling to work. And thanks to you, I did that, and I got a job here. And when the owner offered me the managership, I told him the story of what you had done, and I told him that if he made me the manager, I'd probably be giving away meals every once in a while." And he said, "Just don't bankrupt me." I smiled and said, "I'm glad that what I did helped, but you did it on your own." And he said, "Somebody showing they cared gave me the strength to walk in to the Upper Room Mission and get the help." I kind of left with a tear in my eye. It hadn't cost me anything because the desk clerk at the hotel had given me the breakfast vouchers to bring them in. And Raj, the assistant manager of the Denny's that I frequent, it's on Davies, just up from Burrard, just by St. Paul's Hospital, he gave me the gift cards. So, thanks to them, I helped somebody, and that person's now helping other people. Then, a while ago, this was something that happened to me back in 1996. I was driving from Creston to Vernon. I was just past trail at the Bear rest stop when my car engine went boom and exploded. And I really had to get to Vernon. I was stranded in the middle of nowhere. When the pickup pulls over and this large lady gets out and offers me a ride into Nelson, where the next bus would be coming. I tried to explain to her that I had no money. I had filled up the tank in Creston. I had a friend in Rock Creek that was going to fill it up the rest of the way. Well, she didn't take my "I don't have any money" as an excuse, drove me to that bus station, paid for me to get on that bus. I made it to Vernon, thank goodness, and was able to help the person I was heading there to help. If it hadn't been for that lady helping me, I wouldn't have been able to help the person I helped. It's all about helping others. The more we help others, the more help we get. This one here, a lot of people don't know. Sorry, Mark Velios, I've got to reveal this. In 2009, at Maydays, we didn't bring in enough money to actually cover All-Star Wrestling being there. Mark and Nathan said they trusted me and they knew they'd get it down the road. And they did. But their trust in me gave me the faith to have trust in the people that were encouraging me to believe I could do what I was able to do. Without them saying that to me, I don't know that I would have succeeded with Maydays, to be honest. Because that first year I was in charge, it really didn't go the way I wanted. Now, there's some of my cubs out there. Yeah, they're all growing up now. Almost. Heck, some of them are in their 40s. But I call them my cubbies. A lot of them tell me that I did things for them when they were growing up. And because of things I did, paying for some of them to go to camp, badges, we're out on an outing and all the kids have money except for one or two, and somehow my magic seems to work and I'm able to help out. Well, those cubby kids of mine are now helping people elsewhere. And they tell me the things that they're doing, and a lot of them say it's because of things I did. No, I just set the example, and they decided to follow it. They're doing the things that they want to do because it makes them feel good. Kind of the way my helping others makes me feel. Now, about this haircut, I told you I'd tell you about it. I'm walking along, and there's a hairdressing shop open, and there's no lineup or anything. So I walk in thinking I need to get my hair cut. I jokingly earlier said I wasn't going to cut it until the carnival season started up again, but that could be next year. That's next year probably, and by then it'd probably be way down here, and that just would not go. So I'm go in there, and this Oriental lady who looked a lot younger because of her mask on than she really was, washes my hair, and I'm at her station and she's cutting it, and there's one of those screens, you know, that changes the pictures on, and girl there graduating, and then another picture, girls graduating from university. And I said, oh, who is that? And she's like, it's my daughter. Well, the pictures carry on flashing a little bit, and then suddenly there's a picture of the girl, but years younger, in a Tim Hortons uniform, and I just caught it on the corner of my eye, and I said, by any chance is your daughter's name Anya? And she actually jerked back and she said, how do you know that? And I'm like, did she work at Tim Hortons in Kelowna, BC back in 2007? And she's like, yes, it was her first job, and her manager. Now, I'd met Anya's mom back when I'd hired her. She was only 14 and she was very shy. Well, Ola, I hadn't seen her since I'd interviewed her daughter, was my hair cutter. She wouldn't let me pay for my haircut. She said I gave her daughter her first job and encouraged her and pushed her out there to propel her. Now apparently she's back in Toronto, just graduated from university. I forgot to ask what she's taken, but apparently she got really involved in student politics out there and stuff and became very outspoken, which I gotta be honest, kind of surprised me because she was very shy. When I left Tim Hortons, though, she was outspoken, she was asking for things and such. And when I left, she left 3 days later to an even better job. And her mom tells me that she's had positions of authority where she's looked for the people, the weak people, that she saw potential in to help them. And that's what I've always done. Now, I'm going to finish you off with one last story. None of you know where I'm staying, and that's okay. Last night, there was a young couple outside. They had no money, and I'm speaking to the desk clerk, and turned out they didn't have any ID either. So I talked to the desk clerk, and I'm willing to put it under my name. And I have a little bit of money on me, so I'm willing to even pay. And I did. I paid for the room for them for the night, but the desk clerk put it under their name. Well, this morning I go downstairs, and front desk lady, there's a lady there now, she calls me over, and she's giving me back the money that I had used to pay for the room. That night clerk had told the rest of the crew that works where I am what I'd done. Well, they did up a collection for this young couple, and their room's covered for the next 2 weeks. And I'm like, no, keep the money. They may need some other things. When the young fellow comes in and he says to the girl behind the counter, "Thank you so much. I start tonight. Just up the road there's a bakery and it's hiring." Well, it's not anymore. And the desk clerk told him about it this morning. Yeah. I'm the one that brought them in and talked to that clerk. But it was that clerk that took, and his crew, that took the initiative to take it a step further. Somebody a long time ago had done something like that for me. Well, actually, the Marine Inn in Powell River. Whenever I got stuck over in Powell River from Texada Island on cadet night, or just because I didn't really want to go back over to the island that night for whatever reason, the Marine Inn always gave me a room for free. When people take care of you, you need to take care of other people. And when you take care of other people and help other people along the way, their path, they're going to in turn help others on their paths. I have a lot more stories of things that I've done to help others that have propelled more things to happen for others. Better things. So I'm thinking maybe every Wednesday for the next while I'll come on and tell you some inspiring stories. I'll tell you about the time me and a bunch of scouts back when I was only 15 helped out a little old lady and the great reward that brought us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next Tuesday with more inspiration. Tomorrow night I'll be in a red shirt for a carnival flashback. And you know, I think Friday night it's time for me to start doing some wrestling stories. So I'll be putting on my black shirt. I'll be going from Chris, it's my life Brown, to Chris, the happiest man around, to Uptown Brown. 3 different shirt colors. The same happy face. Well, actually, Uptown Brown's kind of grumpy now. Reach out and help somebody. They'll in turn help somebody else out, and that's what it's all about. Helping people have got me a lot of friends, too. Love y'all.